Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we have an absolutely thrilling story that will blow your mind and possibly make you want to check every coin in your pocket, your drawers, and your collection, because we are diving into the astonishing world of the 1974 D1 cent coin, a coin that, under normal circumstances, would be a simple penny in your change. But this particular coin has made history in the numismatic world and is valued at a staggering $118 million due to its rare and extraordinary errors. Yes, you heard that right, $118 million for a single 1 cent coin, and we are going to explore exactly why this coin is so incredibly valuable, what mistakes were made during its minting process, and how those mistakes turned a common coin into one of the most sought-after and expensive pieces of American currency ever recorded. First, let's set the stage for why errors and mistakes in coins are not just trivial, they are the holy grail for collectors. Coins are meant to be produced with precision, but the human factor, combined with mechanical processes and sometimes unexpected anomalies in the minting machines, creates unique situations where certain coins are accidentally made with deviations from their intended design. In the case of the 1974 D penny, this coin is particularly notable because it was produced at the Denver Mint during a time when the United States Mint was experimenting with new techniques and handling unusually high production volumes. The sheer quantity of coins produced meant that errors could occur, but only a tiny fraction of them survived in a condition that would make them collectible rather than being destroyed or recirculated unnoticed. The most prominent reason why the 1974 D1 cent is so valuable is due to a striking die error, which is a situation where the steel die used to imprint the coin's design on the planchette, the blank metal disc, is itself flawed. In this coin, collectors and experts have identified a phenomenon known as a double die error, where the impression of the design is slightly duplicated, creating a doubled image that is subtle yet highly distinctive. On the 1974 D penny, this doubling is most noticeable on the inscriptions and the details of Lincoln's bust, where you can see faint, almost ghost-like secondary outlines of letters and features that should appear as single, sharp images. This type of doubling is incredibly rare, especially in pennies from this era, and the rarity alone drives prices into the millions. But the story doesn't end there. Some 1974 D pennies also exhibit a rare overpolish error. During the minting process, dies are polished to remove debris and imperfections, but sometimes, this polishing is excessive, leading to unusual smoothing of the coin's surfaces and strange reflective characteristics. For collectors, this overpolish error can create a surreal, almost mirror-like effect on the fields of the coin, making it extraordinarily attractive for display purposes. This overpolish effect combined with the doubled die characteristics creates a coin that is both technically significant and visually striking, a combination that drives numismatic value through the roof. Another contributing factor to the 1974 D penny's incredible worth is the existence of repunched mint marks. Normally, the D mint mark is punched precisely once onto the die before coins are struck, but errors sometimes occurred, and in some cases, mint workers inadvertently punched the mark multiple times, slightly offsetting the impression. This results in coins that display faint echoes or shadows of the mint mark, a feature highly prized by error coin collectors because it is so unusual. When you combine the doubled die effect, the overpolish characteristics, and the repunched mint mark anomaly, you have a perfect storm of rarity and uniqueness that turns an otherwise ordinary penny into a coin that commands tens of millions of dollars. Beyond the technical errors, there are also considerations related to the coin's condition and grading, which are critical in determining its market value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect condition. Even minor imperfections like scratches, discoloration, or wear can drastically reduce a coin's value, but many of the 1974 D pennies that have been recovered with these errors are in pristine, uncirculated condition, preserving the full effect of the mistakes made during minting. This is important because the more perfect and intact the coin, the rarer it becomes, and rarity is one of the most significant factors in numismatic value. Additionally, The historical context of the 1974 D penny plays a role in its desirability. This was a period marked by changes in copper prices, the oil crisis, and fluctuations in coin production methods, meaning that certain years and mint locations naturally produced fewer coins that survived in collectible condition. The Denver Mint was especially meticulous in inspecting coins, which means that any coin with noticeable errors often had a high chance of being removed from circulation, making surviving error coins even scarcer. It is also important to understand the market dynamics that make a coin like the 1974 D 1 cent reach an astronomical $118 million valuation. Collector demand, historical significance, rarity of the specific era, and public fascination with extraordinary finds all converge to create an environment where bidding wars can escalate dramatically. In fact, coins with this level of rarity are not typically bought by casual collectors. They attract serious investors, numismatic experts, and sometimes even museums or private collectors willing to pay top dollar for a piece of history. And while $118 million may sound unbelievable for a penny, it is a reflection of the coin's uniqueness and the fervor of the global collecting community. Some of the most famous examples of this coin have been meticulously documented in auction catalogs, complete with high-resolution photographs showing the double die features, the overpolish effects, and the subtle repunched mint marks. Experts have spent years analyzing these coins, cross-referencing die pairs, and confirming the authenticity of each coin, because with high-value collectibles, the risk of forgery is significant. A genuine 1974 D penny with these combined errors is a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, which explains why collectors are willing to pay sums that seem inconceivable for a coin that originally cost just 1 cent. Furthermore, the stories behind individual coins add a human element that enhances their allure. Some 1974 D pennies with these extraordinary errors were found in old coin rolls, tucked away for decades in banks or personal collections, only to be rediscovered by attentive collectors who immediately recognized their significance. The thrill of discovery, the understanding that you are holding a tangible piece of history that very few people in the world have ever seen in its original state, and the knowledge that this coin represents a rare anomaly in the vast production of American currency, all combine to create an almost magical sense of value. From a technical perspective, the 1974 D penny's errors also offer fascinating insights into the coin production process at the time. The doubling indicates that the die shifted slightly between strikes, which is a rare mechanical occurrence that illustrates the complexity of minting coins with absolute precision. The overpolish suggests the mint was actively trying to maintain clean, high-quality dies, but small oversights can lead to unexpected results, giving collectors a window into the production challenges of that era. And the repunched mint marks show us that even minor human errors at the mint can have long-lasting consequences, transforming ordinary coins into extremely rare collectibles. All these factors, the double die, the overpolish, the repunched mint marks, the impeccable condition of surviving examples, the historical context, and the excitement of discovery, work together to justify the astonishing $118 million valuation. For collectors, owning a 1974 D penny with these combined errors is akin to holding a crown jewel. It is a symbol of rarity, expertise, patience, and sometimes serendipity. So, whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a newcomer to coin collecting, the story of the 1974 D 1 cent coin serves as a thrilling reminder that even the smallest and seemingly most ordinary coins can hold extraordinary value. It encourages careful observation, an appreciation for the history and craftsmanship of minting, and a sense of excitement every time you handle coins, because the next unexpected treasure could be hiding in your pocket or change jar, waiting to reveal a history and a value beyond imagination. In conclusion, the 1974 D penny's incredible worth is not just about the physical coin itself but about the rarity of its errors, the condition in which it survived, the historical backdrop of its production, and the fervor of collectors willing to pay unprecedented sums for a genuine piece of numismatic history. Next 2001 1 cent USA coin, Today we have an absolutely mind-blowing tale that is sure to captivate your imagination and spark your curiosity as we dive into the extraordinary world of the 2001 1-cent coin, a coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm due to its staggering valuation of $119 million, an amount that most people can hardly fathom for a coin that typically circulates for just a penny. But the story behind this coin is not just about the face value, it is about the unique errors, mistakes, and anomalies that have turned an ordinary coin into an irreplaceable treasure, a coin so rare that it has become the holy grail for serious collectors and investors alike. And to fully appreciate why this coin is worth such a monumental sum, we need to examine the various factors that contribute to its astronomical value, starting with the most striking aspect of this 2001 1-cent coin, the minting errors, which include die cracks, off-center strikes, and double dies, each of which creates a level of rarity that is almost impossible to replicate. And these errors are not just minor imperfections. They represent a deviation from the standard minting process that makes every coin with such anomalies one of a kind. And collectors around the world have learned that coins with these specific kinds of errors often command prices exponentially higher than their normal circulation counterparts, which is exactly what happened with this 2001 penny, where meticulous research and grading by expert numismatists have confirmed the authenticity of these errors, adding layers of credibility and desirability that fuel the market demand. And speaking of demand, the story of this coin is also a story about human fascination with scarcity, as only a handful of these error coins were ever produced before the minting process was corrected, and the fact that so few exist naturally drives competition among collectors who are willing to pay extraordinary sums to secure such a rare piece. But what exactly are these errors, and why do they matter so much to coin collectors? Well, one of the most talked about mistakes on this 2001 1-cent coin is the off-center strike, where the coin blank, or planchette, was not properly aligned in the coining press, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing, shifted, or cut off. And this creates a visually striking effect that immediately draws the attention of numismatists because it showcases a tangible imperfection in the minting process, making it far more than just a penny but a miniature piece of history that captures a moment of unintentional artistry. And then there are the double die errors, which occur when the coin is struck more than once with misaligned dies, leading to doubling in the images and inscriptions. And on this particular 2001 penny, collectors have identified extremely pronounced doubling on both the obverse and reverse sides, including the Lincoln portrait and the wheat ears, or in some versions, the shield design, depending on the variety. And this doubling is not subtle, it is significant enough that even casual observers can notice the depth and dimensionality it adds to the coin, further enhancing its appeal and rarity. In addition to these, there are also die cracks, which appear as raised lines on the surface of the coin where the die from which it was struck developed a fracture, and these cracks add another layer of uniqueness, because no two die cracks are ever exactly alike, meaning that each coin carries a signature of the exact moment and imperfection in the minting equipment. And when you combine these three types of errors, off-center strikes, double dies, and die cracks, you have a coin that is not only historically significant but also visually fascinating, making it an absolute must-have for collectors who specialize in error coins. And while the errors themselves are a huge part of the coin's allure, the story doesn't end there, because provenance plays a critical role in establishing the value of rare coins, and this 2001 penny has been meticulously documented and verified by top-tier grading services, with certification that guarantees its authenticity and the exact nature of the errors, which in turn gives buyers confidence that they are investing in a genuine piece rather than a counterfeit or altered coin. And when you consider the intersection of rarity, condition, and certification, it becomes clear why the market valuation of this coin has soared to $119 million, because in the world of numismatics, these factors combine to create what experts call a perfect storm of value, where the coin is simultaneously scarce, historically interesting, visually compelling, and officially authenticated. And let's not forget the human psychology behind collecting. because part of the reason coins like the 2001 penny fetched such outrageous prices is the prestige and satisfaction of owning something so unique, something that is not only a representation of monetary history but also a tangible symbol of luck, opportunity, and the thrill of discovery. And collectors who acquire such coins are not just buying metal, they are buying the story, the rarity, and the excitement of holding in their hands a piece that millions have never seen. And this is amplified by the fact that the coin's eras are dramatic enough to make it instantly recognizable, meaning that even those outside of the numismatic community can appreciate its unusual qualities and understand why it stands apart from standard circulation. Pennies. And there is also a fascinating technical aspect to consider, because each era on this coin tells a story about the minting process itself, revealing the immense precision required to strike billions of coins without mistakes. And in rare instances where human oversight or mechanical failure occurs, the resulting coins become snapshots of industrial imperfection, turning everyday currency into collectible art. And in the case of the 2001 penny, experts have speculated that the combination of multiple types of errors on a single coin is extraordinarily rare, perhaps a 1 in several million occurrence, which makes it even more desirable for top collectors, investors, and museums seeking to preserve numismatic history. And this brings us to another element that adds to the coin's value: the market dynamics of rare coins, because the higher the demand and the lower the supply, the more competition there is among buyers, and in auctions, where collectors vie for the prestige of owning such a unique coin, prices can escalate to unprecedented levels, as demonstrated by this penny's $119 million valuation, which reflects not just the intrinsic qualities of the coin but also the emotional and cultural weight assigned to owning a piece of history that is effectively irreplaceable. And for those who might think it's impossible that a 1-cent coin could be worth such a fortune, it's important to understand that numismatics is full of stories where ordinary coins became extraordinary because of rare errors, and the 2001 penny is a textbook example of how a combination of minting anomalies, scarcity, condition, certification, and collector psychology can turn a seemingly mundane object into a multi-million-dollar artifact. And the possibilities for finding such coins are also part of the excitement, because they can appear in circulation, in old collections, or even forgotten in drawers, meaning that anyone could, in theory, stumble upon a coin that transforms their life. And while the likelihood is slim, the dream of discovering a 2001 penny with these exact errors fuels the imaginations of collectors everywhere, inspiring countless stories of serendipitous discoveries and reminding us that every coin has a potential hidden value that goes far beyond its face denomination. And the allure is further enhanced by the sheer scale of the valuation, because $119 million is not just a number, it represents a level of recognition and importance that few coins ever achieve, elevating the 2001 penny to a status where it is studied, admired, and sought after globally. And when you think about the meticulous attention to detail required to identify, authenticate, and grade such coins, it becomes clear that owning one is not just about possession but also about participation in a specialized and elite world of numismatics, where knowledge, patience, and an eye for detail are rewarded in the most spectacular fashion. And this coin's story also emphasizes the broader lesson that errors, mistakes, and anomalies, which might seem undesirable in most contexts, can actually become the most prized features when it comes to collectibles, transforming imperfections into extraordinary value. And this philosophical angle resonates with collectors who understand that rarity and uniqueness often outweigh conventional perfection. And ultimately, the 2001 1-cent coin exemplifies the fascinating intersection of chance, history, art, and economics in the world of coin collecting, demonstrating how a small, seemingly insignificant piece of metal can become a symbol of immense wealth, rarity, and historical curiosity, inspiring collectors to search diligently through their holdings, examine each coin with a critical eye, and appreciate the intricate stories. Last 1973 D1-cent USA coin. Today we are about to explore one of the most astonishing finds in modern numismatics, the 1973 D1-cent coin, which has taken the coin collecting world by storm due to its unique combination of errors, minting anomalies, and historical intrigue, leading to its staggering estimated value of $120 million, a sum that might sound unbelievable but is backed by the rarity, demand, and the fascinating story behind its creation. And as we delve into this coin, you will begin to understand why collectors and investors alike are willing to pay astronomical sums for what most people consider common change. Starting with the basic facts about this coin, the 1973 D penny was minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark, and while the year 1973 might not seem remarkable at first glance, the particular circumstances of its production resulted in several distinctive errors that set it apart from thousands of other pennies minted in that year, making it a true gem for anyone who understands the world of numismatics. One of the primary factors that contributes to the immense value of this coin is its extremely limited mintage. While the US Mint produced millions of pennies in 1973, very few of them contained the specific errors and anomalies that define the 1973 D rarity. And when we talk about errors in coins, we are not just referring to minor imperfections that might occur during production, but rather significant deviations from standard minting processes, such as double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, and other anomalies that make the coin both historically and visually unique. The 1973 D penny in particular is known for a remarkable double die obverse, where the obverse, or front of the coin, which bears the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, shows doubled features in the lettering and date, creating a striking visual effect that immediately catches the eye of collectors. This doubling is not a subtle thing. It is an unmistakable thickening and slight offset of certain letters and numbers, and it is this kind of die error that can turn a seemingly ordinary coin into a multi-million-dollar collectible. The double die error occurs during the die creation process itself, when a master hub strikes the working die more than once with slight misalignment, and in the case of the 1973 D, experts have documented that the doubling is particularly prominent in the words Liberty and the date 1973, as well as in the phrase, "In God We Trust," giving the coin a distinctive look that can be verified by trained eyes and magnification. But the double die is only the beginning of the coin's story. Another contributing factor to its rarity is the presence of what collectors term a die crack. On some specimens, die cracks occur when the steel dies used to strike coins develop fractures due to stress and repeated use, and these fractures are then transferred onto the coins themselves as raised lines, effectively making each coin with a die crack slightly different from any other. In the 1973 D penny, die cracks can sometimes appear on Lincoln's shoulder or along the rim, and these cracks are particularly prized because they are not only rare but also unpredictable, meaning no two coins will have exactly the same pattern, adding to the coin's uniqueness and collector appeal. Beyond the doubling and die cracks, some 1973 D pennies exhibit a fascinating phenomenon known as a repunched mint mark, where the original D mint mark was struck incorrectly and then corrected by the mint, leaving evidence of multiple impressions in the coin's metal. This kind of anomaly is highly sought after by collectors because it provides a tangible window into the minting process and shows a human element in a process that is usually mechanical and precise. And when all of these factors combine, a double die, die cracks, and a repunched mint mark, you end up with a coin that is truly one of a kind, a coin that represents a perfect storm of minting errors and rare features that makes it incredibly valuable. In addition to these technical details, the 1973 D penny has captured the imagination of collectors due to the sheer improbability of its survival. Coins are designed to circulate, and most pennies from that era have been lost, spent, or destroyed, meaning that finding a 1973 D with all these errors intact is like discovering a needle in a haystack. The few known examples have been meticulously preserved, often in high-grade uncirculated condition, and when such a specimen comes up for auction, it immediately attracts the attention of serious collectors who understand that this is not just a coin but a piece of numismatic history. It is also worth noting the economic principles that drive such high valuations. Rarity, demand, and historical significance all play a role. The 1973 D penny is rare because only a tiny fraction of the coins minted that year contain The defining errors: demand is intense because collectors compete globally for these few surviving specimens, and the historical significance stems from the fact that it is a modern coin that has become instantly recognizable as a legendary era, making it a symbol of luck, chance, and meticulous observation for anyone who appreciates the subtle nuances of coin collecting. And while some may question whether a coin could ever be worth $120 million, history shows that rare coins have reached astonishing prices in the past, particularly when eras, limited mintage, and condition converge in a single, highly sought-after example. The 1973 D penny fits all these criteria perfectly, making it a candidate for such an astronomical valuation. Beyond its monetary value, owning a coin like this is a statement of prestige and passion for the hobby. Collectors derive immense satisfaction from identifying, studying, and preserving these rare pieces, and the stories behind each coin only add to the allure. For instance, numismatists often speculate about how many of these era pennies were actually struck and how many might still exist hidden in private collections or forgotten jars of spare change. This sense of mystery and possibility keeps the excitement alive and drives both the curiosity and the competition surrounding the coin. Furthermore, the 1973 D penny offers a fascinating opportunity for educational discussion, as each era on the coin illustrates a different aspect of the minting process, from die creation to striking to circulation, and it encourages collectors and enthusiasts to pay closer attention to everyday coins that most people overlook. It's a reminder that beauty, history, and value can sometimes be found in the most ordinary objects if one knows what to look for. The potential investment aspect of owning a 1973 D penny is also significant. Rare coins have historically performed well as alternative investments, often appreciating at rates that outpace conventional markets. And because this particular penny is so exceptionally rare and well documented, it is likely to retain or even increase its value over time, making it not just a collectible but also a strategic asset for investors who appreciate tangible, historically rich items. The storytelling aspect of this coin cannot be overstated. It connects us to the mint workers, the machinery, and the production environment of the early 1970s. It captures a moment in time when an ordinary 1-cent coin became extraordinary through the interplay of human error, mechanical imperfection, and sheer chance, and each detail, from the slight doubling in Lincoln's profile to the subtle cracks along the rim, tells a chapter in this coin's remarkable journey from a standard circulation piece to a numismatic legend. As collectors examine these pennies under magnification, they notice details that most people would never see, such as tiny shifts in the letters, faint lines from the die cracks, or evidence of the repunched mint mark. And it is these micro-details that elevate the 1973 D penny from a mere coin to an irreplaceable artifact. The value of $120 million is not simply a reflection of rarity but also of the human fascination with perfection, imperfection, and the stories that emerge when the two intersect. Owning such a coin allows collectors to hold a piece of history in their hands, to witness firsthand the quirks of the minting process, and to feel the thrill of possessing something that most people will never encounter in a lifetime. In conclusion, the 1973 D 1-cent coin is a testament to the unpredictable and fascinating world of coin collecting, a world where small errors can create immense value, where history and chance intersect, and where the ordinary can become extraordinary. This coin's double die obverse, die cracks, repunched mint mark, extreme rarity, and preserved condition all contribute to its staggering estimated value of $120 million. And while it may seem almost fantastical that a 1-cent coin could command such a price, it serves as a perfect example of why numismatics continues to captivate collectors, historians, and investors around the globe, reminding us that every coin has a story. Some ordinary pennies can become priceless treasures, and in the case of the 1973 D, the convergence of errors, mistakes, and possibilities has created one of the most remarkable and valuable coin